because I have my friend and fabulous guest, Miss Julie Kay. And, here's the deal: time. It feels like there's never enough time, right? I mean, like, how many of us have all these never ending to do lists? We've got these projects that we want to do, and we say, okay, I'll get to that tomorrow, or I'll get to that next month. Or, oh my gosh, I'm going to go ahead and, you know what, in January in the new year, I will free up time and I will get that project done, right? How many of you have that problem? And here's the thing: what if that was your biggest mistake? Putting things off time and time and time again. And so today we're going to talk about tips and tricks and strategies to, number one, tame that to-do list, tame it, right? And tackle it. And so we're going to talk about that a little bit today. And if you're joining us, say, hey, what's up? Let us know that you are here. We want to know who is here with us. And tell us where you're coming from. We always want to know where you're coming from as well. And if you come back in on the replay, that's okay too. We want you to comment, like, share, so we can continue the conversation with you when you are here. Okay. So don't forget, drop in the comments, let us know where you are from, and so we can have a conversation with you. All right. I want y'all to know, I'm going to turn on this. Hello, hello, hello. We see you starting to come in, so drop it. I'm going to come in here and type and say hello to all my friends. Okay. Hello there. Hello. And I also, yes. Okay. So I'm getting in here. You know me, I'm a multitasker a little bit. So I'm going to make sure, because sometimes the comments take a moment to pop up. So I want to make sure that we got those. Okay. We are here. It's on. We're good. All right. So, my friends, hello. I am Erin Burd. I have the best job in the world because I get to work with studio owners who do want to grow their business, but don't want to sacrifice their lives. They don't want to end up in burnout. They want to create their own unique vision of success. And I get to do this. I get to talk and chat with so many wonderful people in our industry. And we get to just share, because the truth is that we are better together. We are better together. And so if you would like our show notes from today, in the comments, go ahead and drop show notes, because I want to make sure that we get those. Okay. Hey, Jamie. Hey, girl. I'm so glad that you're here. Yes. Hello. Okay. So, y'all, I'm so excited. I have Miss Julie Kay. If you don't know her, where have y'all been? But Miss Julie Kay, she is internationally renowned teacher, educator, mentor. She loves working with dance teachers and studio owners. She is a fun and amazing personality, y'all. I love it. We have so much fun just laughing and giggling and being real and having so much fun. And so she loves sharing her passion with our industry. And I know that she feels the same, and that we're better together. And so I'm going to go ahead and bring the talented Miss Julie Kay on for us to have a little chat today. Hello. Hey, girl. Yes. Good morning. Or, yeah, I think it's still morning for you. Good morning.
It's like, 11, kind of.
Okay.
It's 11.
Yes. Okay. These time zones.
Right? I know. I'm
Time
all like,
zone.
where are we? Where are you? And
Where
what is Pacific? What are those states? I'm just kidding.
Right? I
But
know.
not really.
Well, I can tell you, because I know Jamie, she is East Coast. So it is lunchtime for her. So I know that we have it here. Okay. So let us know in the comments. Say hello. Let us know where you're at, as well as if you want some show notes today. And I bet you we're going to have some little gifts for you guys, because we're into giving. We're givers.
Always.
And always, right? And so we have some really great resources for you guys today. So make sure that you drop a comment so my team can get you all the goodies. All right. So, Miss Julie K, do you ever sleep?
Of course. I used to not, but I do now.
Oh,
Now
okay.
that I used to not. There was moments where I was like, "Oh my God, 4 hours. That's good. That's good."
Oh,
And then I just would see myself spiral down and almost take that out on my family, of like not getting enough sleep. And ever since I've sold my business and I've regrouped my life after not after COVID, during COVID, I've realized that I really need that sleep. And now I'm sleeping heavier and I'm straight sleeping stress free. So I'm actually
mhm.
like a deep sleep where I wake up and I'm like, oh, I have crusties. Oh, whoa. Or my mouth is dry. You know what I mean? You're like, "Oh, this is called real sleep." But now I'm the kind of
Right.
person that I'm like, I could lay down in a park and take a nap. I mean, used to where my mind would just be going, but I also quit Diet Coke after my entire life. I used to drink up to 12 Diet Cokes a day, literally. And so now all I drink is water all day. And if I can do it, believe me, to 12 Diet Cokes a day, you can do it. So
Oh
that's
my.
helped me. That's helped me like,
Sink into some rest. Well,
like,
it's funny because I don't drink caffeine either. I tried to like in college, truth be told, but like it just messed up my stomach. And
yeah, it makes
so
you feel bloated.
yeah, and so I was just like, this is not worth it, right? So yes, this is my just natural disposition. I was like, oh,
And I still have this much energy. Dear God, pray for me.
right. And I see where my youngest gets it from. She's like, she goes from the moment she wakes up until the moment she hits the pillow. There is no in between. And everyone's like, oh my gosh, is she like this all the time? Yes, she is. And she is just like me. Okay, so so I have been having this conversation with a lot of my clients, and it might be something that you're hearing in the industry too, is that they're struggling with this never ending to-do list.
Mhm.
Like it's more than a mile long, and they feel like the moment they get one thing done and cross it off, there's like five others
Mhm.
on the end of it. And so I've been having this discussion with a lot of my clients and talking about ways that you can, reduce that, ways that you can still get it all done. But when you have someone like you who does so many things, I mean, we see you traveling and, going to different competitions, and, you have your new team, Julie K, which I cannot wait to chat more about. And then as well as conferences and conventions and teaching and doing like, it feels like, because we're so lucky we get to share our lives with everybody through social media and through
Right.
the internet now, right? But a lot of times people are like, well, when do you have time to figure this all out and get it done? And so I wanted to just chat a little bit today about like, how do you one still pursue those big things like Team Julie K? Like you came up with this idea, but it might have felt like, oh my gosh, this is a big project to take on. How do I even tackle it? Right. With all the
Right.
other things and balancing, that whole, well, I say work life balance is a total myth. I think there's work life harmony,
I like
right?
that.
Like because there's going to be times in our work that it's going to be heavier,
Right.
right? But if we can, then shift and say, okay, there's gonna the
Mhm.
trade-off is this, and here's the harmony. But like to think that the scales are always going to be even,
Mhm.
that's a lie. But so
Right.
how did you kind of when you started thinking about Team Julie K, how did you decide to like tackle this beast? Was there things that you said this is going to be my intention, or how did you kind of go about that?
Well, here's what's interesting about it is that let's go back. Let's go back to when I owned a studio. I
Yes.
think that when you're a studio owner, you just think of things to do. Like it's almost like that's a full-time job in your head. So
Yes.
now that I've stepped away from it, I'm like, I just liked lists. And it should not be that way, honestly. And so if I had to go back and do it again, and I mean, like I have my little notepad here and I put down my passwords and, everything that I'm supposed to be doing and whatnot. Ultimately, like it's going to get done. But I realized that I would make lists, but I would not put like a due time or date next to them. And I
Okay.
think that it's a game changer for me. So it was like, okay, so this is a Monday. This is a Monday. And so once I started kind of putting them down there, is that I wouldn't even look at it, and I would just try to get the Mondays done. But
Mhm.
now, and back then it was like I had a business partner too, and we were both so like, we got to do this, we got to do this. But the pressure that I put on myself was the unhealthy part of it.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
I think that that's where I went wrong. Like, I would go, okay, I have all of this done. Why did I not just say Wednesdays, Saturdays, and Sundays, no lists? Like, it's smart. Like, Monday, okay, Sunday night, even Daryl and I do this with our bills. Like, let's spend 30 minutes on this. And so you put it in your phone and you're like, I'm going to work 2 hours on billing on Monday. Okay,
Mhm.
great. That's a huge thing on your list. That's an absolute must for a week, right? And then you go, okay, I'll take a break, do something for myself for 2 hours, and then I'm going to spend 30 minutes on creating content for class or
Mhm.
something like that. So it's now I've gotten to the point where I'm like, okay, this is my Monday list, and once I'm done with that, I tear it off and I throw it away and I don't do anything else because I know that that's what I need to accomplish for the day. And then I conquer Tuesday. And so I basically, like, I have tons of things here, but I have my list copied twice. I have one here, and then I copy it and put it in my car because sometimes, like, I forget things. So it's the best thing that I put it in my car and I go,
Mhm.
okay, I've got this, I've got this, I've got this, because then I can't lose it. I'm notorious for forgetting passwords, notorious for losing stuff. And so I'm like, you know what? Here's the thing. But ultimately, what my kids love now is looking at that list to go, okay, there's only a couple things that mom has to do. Instead of, in my brain, they kept asking me, what is on the list today? And I'm like, oh my God, I don't want to record. I don't want to keep, sorry for the bus. I don't want to keep telling you because now it's frustrating me. So I just put it in my car and then I'm like, here's the list for the day. And now I don't have anybody to bother me. So those are
Love.
some really good things. But as for Team Julie K, that was during COVID. And after I sold the studio, I was like, what am I going to do? And I have a really good helper. Like, she's the ultimate, that she was like, this is what we should do. And I'm like, okay, great. New avenue. Oh my God, am I there? Did you
You're
lose
there.
me?
You're here.
Oh, I was like, oh my
No,
God, because I don't see
I'm just
myself on the
listening. I'm just
no,
taking it in.
no, I don't see myself on the shared screen. So I was like, oh my
Oh,
God. I was like, my connection went bad. Anyway, so
oh no.
no, I was like,
I know.
but
Let's make sure. Hey, friends. I'm like, I hope. Give us some love, guys. Give us some love. Hey, Kristen, I want to make sure that you guys, we need to know. I'm
right.
like, I hope not. It says we're good still, y'all.
Well, I
It
know,
says.
right? Okay, good. Okay, so I just can't see myself, which is fine. Okay, so ultimately, what I plan on doing for Team Julie K is I would do this, and I'll show you the process of it. So because I think sometimes people want to see a process. So if I have Team Julie K and that's my main
Mm,
concern, then I pull off to the side here and I go, okay, I want this to be a Facebook group. Okay, Facebook group, and then I my goal is to have 50 clients. Okay.
mhm.
And I want weekly updates. Okay. So weekly updates. And then, so what you see, what I do is I
Yes.
start building what it is what it is I want.
Mhm.
That's ultimately everything to me. You know what I mean? Like, so I
Right.
go, okay. And then what I do is I start tackling what I need to do for Facebook. And I say, let me do 30 minutes on this. Let me do for clients, I'm going to have to spend 30 minutes on this. And so I'm sitting there breaking it down so that
Mhm.
I know ultimately what the time it's going to take for me to do this. And,
Right.
there were moments where I would tell the person I was working with on this, I was like, you know what? I just need 2 days not to think about it because I need
Mhm.
my space to go either walk in the park or, I find that I need more quiet spaces. And I love to kayak. So I might take my notebook and just
Mhm.
literally go out and kayak and not even paddle or do anything like that.
Yeah.
I might just sit out there and go, because the problem was when I owned a studio, I never allowed for space.
Mm.
So now the clarity that is in my head is so much deeper and so much better.
Mhm.
Does that make
Yeah.
sense? And so,
Absolutely. I think that. one of the things that's really great is, yes, taking it down and talking about that is kind of like we have these big projects, and it is breaking them down into smaller bite-sized, morsels where it doesn't feel
Right.
like you're trying to eat the whole thing and do it all at once. But I think to your point earlier is that giving yourself a deadline or time blocking in that these are my Monday tasks, these are my Wednesday tasks, or whatever. And then the key is though walking away when you've completed those tasks,
Yeah, and just
right?
shutting the door.
Right. And being done. I had one of my clients, we kind of joked because speaking of, Nutcracker, they were getting ready for it, whatnot. And we have to do this. And I said, but why? Why are you trying to reinvent the wheel? Why are you trying to make it sparklier? Why are you trying to you're creating this extra
Mhm,
for the sake of creating extra?
mhm.
And is it something that really even matters?
No, because if they want the material, they want the material. They don't have to, you know what I mean? Like, that's kind of why I'm a raw person. Like,
Right.
for me, I'll put that camera up and I'll just have it and me shooting me and my kids. I don't have to have a team. I don't care about that. And
Right.
ultimately, I've never heard of a person saying, "Gosh, I wish that there was a better angle or anything." They just want the content to receive it, then to deliver it and put it into action. That's all they care.
Absolutely, absolutely. And so I think that's kind of another big, tip or takeaway is that we have to look at things and look at that to-do list and see, do these tasks or do these to-dos even matter? Right? And so I am all about the delete, delegate, or do. I really am, because one of the big things is, we all need support. And if we're trying to do it all ourselves,
Right.
that's a one-way ticket to burnout street,
Yeah.
right? Like
And
we
something
have
I want to share because you said burnout. I love podcasts. I was
Mhm,
listening to a podcast that because you said that because when it said that it just sparked this whole thing.
mhm,
Sanjay Gupta is amazing. He's a guy on CNN, and I watch
mhm.
all the news stations.
Yeah.
I have to say that I do.
Preface.
Right. He has this podcast and it's called Chasing Life.
Mm,
And there were a couple of things that I was listening to, and it just kept rolling because I was walking. And one of them was about burnout. And I
mhm,
literally stopped because we live on a golf course. I
mhm,
literally stopped and I sat down, and tears were rolling down my face. It talked to me, like, it spoke to me so much about, like, that I was ignoring every sign of it. It was like, dancers are taught to go, oh, we're not hurt, we'll be fine. And
for sure.
underneath that, we're like suffering and we're dying. It's the
Mhm,
same thing. Like, if somebody asks me how I'm doing, I'm like, scale out of 1 to 10, 5. I scale it because I
mhm,
actually want people now to know where I am. I mean,
mhm.
today I'm a 6. I'm lower than I was yesterday. Okay. I had a rough night with one of my kids. Okay. You know what I mean? But but now that I go, okay, I'm a 6, I'd like to make it to a 7 by the end of the day. Instead of a 10, I just want to make it to a 7. So, like,
Yeah,
realistic expectations without me going, I have to make it to a 10 every day. And then the burnout happens. So that's what
right.
sparked that. Sorry, I went off.
No, this is what this is all about. I mean, truthfully, it's this, you know, I think that we all pull things from different places. One of the things for me, now that you're talking about podcasts and doing all that, and I don't mind sharing, is I don't know if you've ever read, there's a book and it's called The One Thing. And author's last name is Keller, if I remember off the top of my head.
It's all right.
But
I'll look it up.
the one thing really for me was instrumental in really stopping and taking a step back and looking at, like, if I reframing my perspective and if I just got this one thing done, I would consider my day a success,
Right.
and it would move myself forward in, whatever it is that I'm working on, be it, was it the book, or was it, like, there are so many different projects that we work on over here. And so, but that was the key. It's like, well, what's the one thing? Right. And then I tackle that. You eat the frog. you do it first. And then I'm like, oh, well, anything else is just like icing on the cake. Right. And like, I feel like a total rock star. And so,
I
so
agree. I like it. The one thing.
the one thing. So that was really awesome. So I just want to share that. So
That's all right.
let's talk real quick. I wanted to mention too that you mentioned like your Monday tasks or your, whatnot. Now I am into day blocking in that way as well. Like on this day, I try to be systems, for me, when we have a system for things, for me, it causes less anxiety when things aren't really chaotic. So I'm like, okay, Mondays are my coaching client calls with all my, like I do a bunch of, that's Mondays. Tuesdays is my social media copywriting, like there's all sorts of those sorts of things, show prep, because Wednesdays we have shows, so I look at it in that way and date block in that way. But obviously we know there's times. Do you also do like date and time? Are you very specific in when you're like, okay, like you said, 30 minutes. Okay, I'm going to do from 9 to 9:30 this task, and then I turn it off.
And I actually put alarms on because now that I'm an alarm person, it's actually a reminder that it's time to stop. Because if not, I'm the kind of person that would roll over and allow it to take more time from something else. And I don't think that's fair to yourself. You know what I mean? Like, then
Mhm.
that just needs to be that you need a 30-minute filler somewhere else. But ultimately, that shows you time management and more
Mhm.
structure in your life. But like, there'll be something like today after this, I have probably an hour. I'll have like an hour and 45 minutes until I go get my teeth cleaned. Okay,
Mhm.
so I know that in that hour and a half that I need to have lunch with my husband, I need to fold the laundry, and I need to do house things. So
Mhm.
it's like my pickup house kind of thing. And but I take my time and I don't structure that. So I have some freedom of, you know,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
then I know at 1:45, okay, while I'm sitting there getting my teeth cleaned, I need to listen to a podcast
Mhm.
or I need to be present and talk to the person that's with me because they might inspire me in a different way. But
Mhm.
you know what I mean? So it's like those kind of things I think is so important that I prepare my headphones, that they're
Mhm.
charged, that it's like, okay, I need to do that. And then after that, I know that, you know, I only have 30 minutes till I get the kids. What am I going to do in that 30 minutes? I might take
Mhm.
a walk. I might, you know what I mean? I might come home and just look at my husband and tell him he's the hottest thing I've ever seen in my life. Whatever. You know what I mean? But then I know that the rest of the plan for the day, like ultimately, Daryl and I need to say, okay, what's it going to take to wrap up the end of the day? Because things change when you have three kids. You know, today's Wednesday. Okay, what's Wednesday? Wrestling. What's Julie K teaches? Zeta's here. Oh, I've got to go to a Boston meeting. And so then I
Mhm.
prepare, and then after that, I really try that we stop after that, and then we're trying to have dinner at the table,
Mhm.
refocus, homework, whatnot. But I can't think of work while I'm doing that and be 100% present for my kids. It's something
Right.
I've battled with and struggled, and it's a horrible addiction that I had.
Mm. Yeah. So I'm so glad that you mentioned that because I think it's really comes down to being intentional,
Hmm.
right? Being intentional about it and being present. And that's one of the things for us and my husband when we decided to go, start this mobile dance company was that for us, we also said like we wanted that time around the dinner table with everybody as long as possible because as they get older,
Yeah, they leave.
if they leave and it becomes increasingly more difficult for everyone to sit around have dinner together. And so for us that was really a big factor in saying like let's do this mobile thing, which has been beautiful for our family because we have been able to have that. But I think whether it's in our life or business or personal, people say, oh, business, personal. You guys, y'all, let's be real. Like it's all intertwined, right? Like there's no separating it.
It's a Twizzler pack.
Right? I love that. So for us, it's really finding that happy balance or harmony, but being intentional about what it is that we feel is going to make our lives a
Right.
success. So I'm
And
so
not
glad that
getting mad at myself that and not punishing myself in different ways of not getting things done. Like,
right.
let it go. Like, just go. Let it go.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. you know? Oh my goodness gracious. So, you guys, in the comments, I have to tell you, we're going to be talking right now about a little more about Team Julie K because y'all, when I saw this pop up and I started looking at it, I was thinking, my goodness, it is time. it was time, girl. It was time
Thank you.
because
That's so sweet.
here's the deal. One, you know, I think that some of the ideas that you come up with are so creative and something that I would have never thought of. And I know that there's so many teachers or so many studio owners. I talk to them, all week long, and they feel overwhelmed by keeping it fresh, right? Because here's the deal. It's a shuffle, y'all, right? Like how many times can we teach it, right? And not get bored with it? It's more about keeping ourselves entertained, truthfully. I
Hmm.
mean, that's my personal opinion. Because if we get bored, then
Hmm.
it comes out in our teaching and our students are bored, right? And
Yeah,
people go, oh, they're bored. I can't get, they can't hold their attention span. We can't, and yes, there are some extra challenges this year, right? We all know that. But I think that it really comes down to us keeping fresh, having these new creative ideas. And like, that's why I love looking at different options, curriculums, and
of
things.
course.
It's not because, I write a lesson plan with my eyes closed? Of course I could, right at this point, right? But
Right.
some days you just don't want to. Or some days you don't have the energy of the time, right? So
Right.
why not have the support? And so when I saw it, I thought, oh my goodness, yes, because this can be one of those things that is a game changer because it takes away something off
Mhm.
your to-do list. So
You're right.
do you want to tell everyone, because maybe not everybody's heard yet about
It's of
I mean,
course.
I want us to talk about this a little bit because I think that it's so great. And like I said, something that's so needed um, as an option for studio teachers or for
Well, you're the
teachers in general.
sweetest.
Oh, and you guys, Miss Julie K was very sweet and she has a really great goodie for you guys. So if you want the goodie, y'all, lean in, lean in. But anywho, tell us a little bit about Team Julie K.
All right, so Team Julie K is something, I've been in the industry long enough as a teacher. Can you hear me? I don't know if you can hear me. Something just went wrong. Hello?
Hold on. Can you hear me?
There we go.
Yes?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. Go
Did
for
I
it,
do
girl.
something wrong?
No, I actually took myself off screen so they could just see you, and so maybe
Oh,
that did something.
okay. I was like, oh my goodness. Okay, no worries.
Go
Okay, so
on.
here we go. Retake.
We're live, y'all. We're live.
Well,
Yay! Laura said she can hear us. Yes, 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 yes. Oh,
okay,
thank
great.
you. Okay, yes, Jamie. Thank you, guys. This is what helps us. Thank you.
Yeah, because I'm like,
We're
I'm like,
live,
wait, something
y'all.
happened.
You're good.
We're live. All right.
We're
I've been working in the industry for a long time, and I've owned a studio with a large amount of kids. I've choreographed pageants. I've been a magician's assistant. I've been a showgirl. I've done I've turned into a leopard, a lion, and a snake. I know, right? Ooh, ah. No, but ultimately, I learning on owning a studio was the hardest thing I mean, career-wise that I've ever done. And so after I sold the studio, I was like, what am I going to do? I see all these platforms, but I see them all for studio owners.
Mhm,
And there's the Dance Teacher Network, there's the New Dance Teacher Network, there's
mhm,
like a lot of cool things out there, but ultimately, I wanted something for just teachers that was affordable
mhm,
because there's so many things out there for studio owners, but there's not a lot for a teacher to
mhm,
educate themselves in. And you can write this off. And ultimately, like for me, if I was a teacher, I'd say, you know what, instead of a gift this Christmas or
mhm.
whatever you're going to do, if you could give me, a month of Team Julie K or something, give a gift like that of education, then it would help you. And so I have tons of ideas. We have about 130 members, and we've been going for about 3 weeks now, which is great. I basically what I do is I put together a weekly schedule of what's going to happen, and so then they understand what's going to be uploaded. I put together lesson plans for the teachers. I post all my videos that I'm doing
Mhm.
currently at the week. I even just do videos of me in my living room on a tap board, like just teaching different things.
Yeah.
But ultimately, as I'm starting to do this, like here's one of the papers that I created, and of course, steal this. I don't care. It's a like a little cramp roll, and this is for now. I did this for my 12 and under, and the kids that were 12 were like, "Can we color this?" And I'm like, of course you can take it home and color it. I was dying that the 12-year-old was doing it. But I do different things, and I'll kind of show you that this is my favorite one so far. I added a little bit of Bojangles, and what I did is I superimposed this picture with all of my little kids with Bojangles and said, "Hey, Mr. Bojangles joined our class today, and this is who we were really learning about." And then I showed him the famous scene where it's him and Shirley Temple, and they're like, "How's the guy so good?" And I'm like, I mean, he's a pioneer, you guys. Like, so I said, here's your homework. At the dinner table afterwards, say, hey, you know what? I've got homework. Everybody's got to watch this clip of Shirley Temple and Bill Bojangles.
Mhm.
It's recreating like when you see stairs somewhere that you're like, da 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 da. It makes me just like want to do it. I want to go to the state capitol and reenact me doing it. Like it's just something I want to do. But building on a step, because what happens is we have curriculum and they're like, okay, we've taught all the curriculum, but building on a step is so important. So
Mhm.
basically, we start off with a cramp roll, and then Charlotte, get it? Charlotte's Web. So
Mhm.
cute. Got it?
Love
4
it.
sounds here.
Love
I'm
it.
such a dork. But so this is 4 sounds, and they would learn the cramp roll. Okay. And if the little kids, like the babies, I usually give them 2 colors. I'm like, let's make a pattern and color as we go. And
Mhm.
this is our 30-minute like combo lesson. So
Mhm.
then I'll say, let's do a heel cramp roll, heel, heel, quack, quack. And then let's do a flat, 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 drop, drop for a cramp roll. And then let's do a shuffle, shuffle, ball, ball, heel, heel. And then my front door, back door, it's kind of a little secret thing that I have. It's just you basically open up, like instead of there's no place like home, clicking the back of the heels, you just click the front part. So that's the front door. This is the back door, learning a cramp roll turning, which is
Mhm.
a challenging one, and
Tricky.
then doing a cramp roll out and then doing a cramp roll in. And so I put this together, and by the end of the class, they're so stoked because they feel like they've accomplished something because they're coloring something along the way. But the
Yes.
very first thing I did was this, and this was like a little jazz lesson. And so what I did is we put everything up here in a review section.
Mhm.
And then the new step of the week was a Shorty George and a triplet. But
Mhm.
what I noticed is this one was harder for them. So Shorty George is a swing step. It's a pretty easy step.
Yeah.
So what I did is I decided to move this up in the review section.
Yeah.
And then
Okay.
this still needs to be a new step for the next week. So these
Mhm.
are just simple things that somebody can just print off, and I make them for them all the time because
Yes.
I think it's so great because sometimes you're just like, I don't even know what I want to, I don't even know what I want to do today. And
Mhm.
so I just have them printed and I download them and put them in a file for the teachers, and they go, perfect, print 7 kids, and they have something for the day.
Mhm. That's
So
awesome.
that's ultimately, it's just like a plug and go kind of thing because ultimately these some of these teachers have more jobs than one, and
Right.
they have a family. And so I if somebody put that up, I'd be like, oh my God, game changer, I can just do this today. But then
Right.
what I do is throughout the week is what I'll do is I'll put it up there, but this is for the following week. And so then I teach them the formula on
Mhm.
video, and then that way they're ready for the next week. But
Yeah.
when you feel that way and you have something ready, you're more excited to teach class.
Yes. 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 I mean, I think being prepared is key. Number one.
Yeah.
It takes your class from chaos to calm. Right? I mean, let's be real. And so that's one of the things that I just love about this is that it is, teachers are so busy, and like you said, most of them, this is not their one thing, right? It's for the love, right? Because we all have the passion and the love for it, and so they're like, okay, I've got my full time job, I got my family, and now I'm going to go teach. And so sometimes it's the oh yeah, what am I going to do? I haven't had time to plan. So I think that's really awesome. But being able to say, oh, watch this fun idea, be prepared for it, and be excited to go into the classroom the next week and teach it and feel
Right.
confident feel confident in that.
And what I'm training these teachers to do is that, once we've done these weekly tasks,
Mhm.
download those, put that in a Google Drive. So you have September, you have October,
Rinse and repeat.
November. So then you can repeat it and go,
Mhm.
wow, that's what I mean. And it's not like you just do that forever, ever, amen.
Right.
But at least it's an idea that you have, that it's a
Mhm.
go-to, that you're like, I'm having a day. I don't want to do that, right? So you can just go for it, and I'm going to show you one more. I hope I'm not driving you crazy.
No, I'm loving. You guys, let us know in the comments. Are you loving these? I am loving it. Let me know.
Uh,
Let me know. I want to know.
yeah, because if we don't hear, okay, it says, yep, we can hear you. Okay, never mind.
Okay.
Okay, so I teach a mommy and me class too, and I love mommy and me, but I noticed that when I ran a mommy and me class in California, when I owned a studio, that the parents were on their phones, they were paying attention to other things. And so
Mhm.
I was like, what am I going to do different here in Arkansas? What have
Hmm.
I learned? So then I realized that I love bingo. My grandmother loved bingo. So the bingo dot, like the Dobblers, whatever that's
Mhm.
called, I buy them. And when a kid has gotten it, the parent now says, we did it together. And so, what this is just a very basic thing of heel step, toe step, march, jump out, jump in. And so, this is our 30-minute goal of what we
Mhm.
do. So, what I basically do is we start with music and we have a good old time and we play. But the last 10 minutes of class, I'm like, okay, let's review these heel steps. I've already incorporated them in the beginning part of
Mhm.
class, but maybe that they just need a refresher. And so it's so cute because the parents will go, "We're going to go home and practice this." And I'm like, if you just practice it 2 times, their skills are going to be so much better. Since
Mhm.
I've started this, my kids, I'm telling you, those babies, they're aware, they're more comfortable in class. And then what I do is I give them, instead of a treat or anything at the end, I actually give them a balloon, which is the treat. And
Oh,
the balloon is their favorite thing ever. So I go to the dollar store, I buy a little pump and I blow it up. And with my 5 and 6 year olds, I'll say, okay, what was your favorite step that we learned today? Then I write it on the balloon, and that's what they get to take home to show their parents. I know,
so
right? Isn't it cute?
fun. That is so
So,
fun. We're gonna steal that.
so
Okay, they're saying they're loving it. So don't, yeah, they're love it. Love it. Yes,
love,
yes,
love
yes,
it,
love it.
love,
Oh
love,
my
love.
goodness gracious. Yes.
And then
I love it.
what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna open my phone here a second. I'm gonna show you a picture of them in a second as I get it pulled up. But I think what the biggest thing is that they feel that they have accomplished something,
Mhm.
and it's not a lollipop, or they get to go show their parents what they learned. So the
Mhm.
accomplishment is the biggest thing for me
Mhm.
now. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And what I expect of them, I always even tell my like little ones, I'm like, okay, I expect you guys to listen and focus. What do you expect of Miss Julie K? And so now I ask those kids, what do they expect? Well, I just want to have fun. I'm like, great. So we're going to have some fun. We're going to add that in there. And I remind them, isn't this fun? Because
Mhm.
that's what they said that they want to do. So,
Yes.
and also a big thing, teachers who are listening or studio owners, I like to record my class, and I might not post that on a platform, but I go back, and instead of watching myself now, I'm watching the body language of the kids. And
Mm.
I can see that that's a low performance class or a high performance class. And once you start doing that, that's going to help you with, okay, I need to talk to this child's mom. They're not engaged in class. They sit down, they're fidgeting too much. Because it's like, and I really would have not thought about that until now
Mhm.
because of football and watching the coaches
Watching tape.
watching the replays and whatnot. And
Yes.
I was watching the referee replay watch it, and I was like, interesting. That's
Mm.
so I don't know. Can you see this?
Yes. Oh, so cute.
So this little girl, she wanted plie, and this one she loves fourth position, and this one is passe. Everybody's texting me this morning, and this one was plie.
Love it. I love it. I love it. And
But it's just something fun.
yes, and I think I want to say, you guys, that's a brilliant idea to not, I mean, my goodness, we all figured out anyway how to go virtual and to do our classes and on Zoom and stuff. So why not record yourself um,
You see
and
it all.
watch back the tape, right? And it is about the students, but it also about you, and it's about your body language and like, well, oh, well, of course, look at how I was standing and how I was delivering this. Of course, they didn't like it, right? How could I have spruced that up a little bit, right? So I love that idea, and honestly, it's interesting you say that because when I build systems for my team, for my teachers, for my staff, or whatnot, I record myself and then I transcribe it because then you have audio, you have text, you have, all the different ways people learn. And so it's interesting that you say that, but I love the idea of playing, kind of just doing your playback.
Well, I watch and I stop, and I have Team Julie K, and then I have a step above that, which is
Mhm.
Julie K's Mastermind.
Oh,
It's much more expensive, but it's one-on-one with teachers every week, and I guide them. But I
mhm,
basically, on my call before this, as I did a replay of what I saw in the class, so I
mhm,
stopped it and said, "Look at her body language. This is now the third time that she's done this one. This one is, you know what I mean?" And then I'm like, "And
mhm,
look at me. I did not respond the way that I should have, or I handled this correctly." So I
mhm,
talk about what my high performance things were and what
mhm,
my low performance things were.
mhm.
So ultimately it's like evaluating and watching where I went wrong. And it's even with parenting. I should video myself with an argument with my child and see where I went wrong. Like
Right.
last night when I was almost on Dateline.
No. I
I mean,
I know.
he
I
did
said,
not do his work, and I threatened him to death, and this is the best thing. I said, "Fine. You know what? I'm gonna make sure that you get that assignment to her, so we're gonna walk it in together."
"Oh."
So I walked up to the door, and for the first, he had tears, like, "Oh my God, you're gonna embarrass me." And I was like, "If you don't give it to her today, I don't know what's gonna happen, but I'll think about it." Because I was so mad.
Right? I know.
But it
Oh my
but it
gosh.
was like, I need to watch my body language and what I'm doing, because I
Mhm.
literally beat the fire out of him last night. Because I was like, "I keep getting these emails that you're lazy." I'm not a lazy person, but I have to also remember he's 13 years old. But I also have to teach these time management skills to my family and, like, say,
Yes.
"This is my expectation. I expect if I'm paying this large tuition for you to go to a private school, that you're doing your work, because I'm making money and you're getting Chick-fil-A, or you're getting," you know what I mean? Like,
Yes.
so it's just the expectations, but it's the same thing inside the classroom. Like, watch and learn from
Mhm.
yourself. This is where we go wrong, where we don't want to watch ourselves. You watch yourself. It's eye-opening.
Oh my goodness. Girl, I've got a 13-year-old as well. Oh
Yeah,
man.
I
It is
slam my
not for the
head
faint of heart.
slam my head through this window.
For real. Oh, Lord. Okay. So, y'all, okay. So, I've been having so much fun. And you know what? I'm sure that we could sit here and chat all day, which I absolutely love. But I want to tell you guys, so Miss Julie K, she has been so sweet. And she has put together an amazing goodie for all y'all. Y'all don't want to miss this for real. So she had put together a whole complete Mary Poppins camp that you guys can take and plug and play. Like,
Easy.
what?
Timeline, everything.
Timeline, objectives, what to, I mean, like, I was looking at this like, oh my gosh, what you could do with this, amazing. And so she has been so sweet to gift it to you guys for free. But if you want a copy of this, you need to come in the comments and you need to drop Mary Poppins. Drop it in there and we will get it to you. We will send it out to you in Messenger. So if you're wanting a copy of that, and how could you not? Um, right? How could you not? I love just seeing, I mean, I love resources and I love being able to take a look and see, where, oh, look at that idea. Ooh, or how can I make this work for me? Like, I
Yeah,
love that part of it,
right.
right? Okay, I love it. Mary Poppins with the umbrella. Like,
Oh my
they're
God,
popping in
stop.
there.
I love it.
I love it, Laura. So we will definitely get you a copy of Mary Poppins. We will get, yes, Mary Poppins. Love it, love it, love it. So last thing before we leave, yes, look at all this. Mary Poppins, I'm loving the umbrellas. Um, you guys, before we take off here, I want you guys, Miss Julie K, how can they get more information about Team Julie K?
Yeah,
And
it's all
I mean,
good.
like,
Yeah, you can go to juliekstallcup .com. My last name is spelled Stallcup. Or you
yes.
can find me on Instagram and I'll send you the link. If you don't want to look it up, I got you. Julie K Stallcup.
We will get you.
JuliekayStallcup.
So here's the deal. I'm going to leave you guys with some final words. Number one, I think, talking about this whole idea of never enough time, right? Never enough time. It's really being intentional about what it is that you want to do. and why it's so important not to just keep pushing these big things off, because those big projects that you want to do, whether it's starting something like Team Julie K, or starting a mobile dance program, or doing like, you have to lay the groundwork, right? Think
Yep.
about when you're creating the Nutcracker, when you're doing a show or recital, you don't say, well, I'll wait until,
Right.
right? Because if you do, it's disastrous,
Yeah, it is.
right? Or you're staying up and you're only sleeping 3 hours a night because you put it off, and then it doesn't turn out the way you want it to,
Right.
right? So the time is now. It's just about getting intentional about um how do we get there? How do we run this marathon? Well, it's just, we're not sprinting to the finish line, and we have to take these and hit each mile marker, and then we will cross the finish line if we take the small bits, right?
Yep.
So
Changing bad habits.
changing some bad habits, and that can be hard because we have to get uncomfortable. We have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable, but that's okay. So I want to say, you guys, you can do it too. And the biggest thing is get support. Get support, whether that is through mentors, whether that's, y'all, puppy play group. My, my dog is at puppy play group right now. Get support. Right? I've got the dog trainer, and she comes and she picks him up, and they go and they play, and he has a grand old time living his best life, right? Um, get support. Get support. And so that will help you not only free up time, right? Because it gets you to A to B in the quickest manner.
Right.
Really, and so, you guys, I cannot thank Miss Julie K enough for coming on, us having so much fun this morning, and sharing with you guys. And again, if you're coming in on the replay, we want to know as well. We'll come back in, we'll chat with you. Drop in the comments if you want those show notes, if you want Mary Poppins camp. And you guys, I will see you all next week, same time, same bat channel, same place. And you guys, just show up. Go out in the world and just show up. I'm going to leave you there. Have a fantastic day, friends. Thank you so much, and we will see you guys